everyone, welcome to my Flosstube channel, Thread the Needle. My name is Vani and I'm coming to you from Newfoundland, Canada. So I have a update for you. It's not necessarily fully stitching because I had the immense pleasure of attending Stitch North last weekend, and so I'm just going to be giving you an update on my experience. It was, to sum it up, it was like the best weekend for someone who has a hobby that they are obsessed with and they want to be around people who are the same like them. That's not one word, but that's exactly what it's like. So really, it was 2.5 days long, and that's why I'm putting out my video a little later this week, because by the time I came home, during flight delays and everything, tired, and then had to go to work, and so work and catching up on home life and catching up on sleep took a couple of days to kind of get back into the swing of things. But I'm here now and I'm ready to tell you all about my experience. So, Stitch North 2023, weekend number 1. Weekend number 2 is currently happening this weekend, and this is why I think I'm okay to post this video, because I didn't want to put any spoilers up there, because all those lovely people who are going to be attending this weekend, I wanted them to have a fresh experience of Stitch North on their own. So 2.5 days, and it was filled with stitching, and more stitching. I have never spent that many consecutive hours of stitching with people who also love to stitch as much as I do, and laughing and chatting and talking about stitching and getting to know everybody. So it's a room filled with people that some of them you think you know because you follow them on social media for their stitching, and then you meet them in person, it's like, oh my goodness, you're real. I had many people come up to me and tell me that they follow my Flosstube, and it kind of made me realize, oh my god, everyone out there is also real. You do watch me. And so that was really lovely to meet so many people and put faces to names, and the best time. So a couple of us flew from Newfoundland, so we all sat together at a table, and then I met friends from all over, from the States, and then we were lucky enough to have a friend from Australia come and sit with us. There was people from the UK, there was people from all across Canada, from all the way out west to all the way out east, which is us. So it was just the best time. This is my first ever fully needlework retreat. So the previous ones were kind of more multifaceted retreats where anybody who had any kind of hobby, that's what they were going to be working on. But this one was purely needlework. And I was one of the few who were full coverage. There was just a handful of us who liked to work on full coverage. And so I actually took all of my whips. This is only like a small representation of my whips. I took all of them because I wanted to showcase what it is that I work on. Because everybody there was doing so many samplers, or like the long dog samplers, or the ink circles, or prairie school samplers, or everything. And some of them were huge projects and some of them were tiny. A lot of people working on smalls, which is something that I don't do. I don't work on small projects, as you can see. And so it was really kind of a different take on it all, and I really got to see everybody's different perspectives. So you register, and then you go and you find a table with your friends, and you get to know each other, and you set up your stitching, and then you just stitch. And then throughout the whole day, there's people coming to your table and asking what your name is, what you're stitching on, and wanting to get to know you. And then I even took the opportunity also to just go around the room. There was maybe I don't know, 30 tables, and there's about 7 or 8 people at each table, and you get to, and the cool part is that you're kind of creeping from table to table and leaning over people's shoulders and kind of peering over their shoulders and seeing what they're working on, and no one finds it weird. It's the coolest thing ever. Everyone is so open and friendly, and you can ask them anything about themselves and their stitching. So I went around the room and I would look at what everybody's working on. And if it was something that I found really cool, I'd say, "Oh my gosh, what are you stitching on?" And then they would explain the whole thing, and it was the best thing because a lot of the people were stitching on things that I would never stitch on, which I find, things that I find really nice to look at, but it's not something that I would ever purchase to stitch on, because this is what I do. I do full coverage. So that was really cool. And then my favorite question to ask them was, "Where are you coming from?" And that was a really cool answer to hear, that they're coming from, like I said, all across Canada, from the States, from the UK. It was amazing group of people to be a part of. And it was an amazing experience. And if you ever get a chance to attend one of these events, not necessarily Stitch North, because there's many retreats out there that are very similar to Stitch North. This one just happens to be Canadian, and it just worked out well for me. But it's just the level of friendship and camaraderie and like-mindedness it's infectious, and it's so much fun. Then we had and then the outside, just outside the conference area where we had all our tables set up, they had the vendors set up. And I was like, wonderful, but I'm not sure what I'm going to find because, again, full coverage. And a lot of the vendors were not selling full coverage. They sell samplers, or they sell different kind of patterns, just not what I'm normally stitch on. But of course, you go around. I bought some fabric. I bought some little bits and bobs. So I'm going to go through that. And then, of course, I stitch on my retreat piece. If you don't know what my retreat piece is, you're going to find out. So let's begin with the grab bag. So everybody who registered, as part of your registration, you received a bag of goodies from the vendors and sponsors who were kind enough to put a little something in the bags for everybody, which I thought was so generous of everybody. Like I'm telling you, the stitching world is like nothing else. Everybody is so lovely and generous and really, really kind. So let's begin there. So it started off inside the bag. There was this envelope with Stitch North on it, and inside was a chart made specifically for the trip, for the retreat, as well as floss from Roxy Floss & Co. Beautiful Canadian red color to stitch that on. And a needle minder that says Stitch North. I don't know if you can see that very clearly. It's really lovely. There we go. So pretty. And a little maple candy. Then a lovely little pillow box. I kind of flattened it so that I could fit it in my luggage, because let me tell you, because I was flying, I only flew with hand luggage. So I had to squeeze every little bit on the way home. I thought, because, you know, we did a smalls exchange, and I thought that by the time I took all that stuff out and I had a little treats for everybody at my table, that I'd have space for all the extra stuff. Nuh-uh. That was a challenge, let me tell you, packing. Okay, so inside this lovely, cute little pillow box is our Newfoundland company, Bryn and Nettle. And inside, they have a cute little chart. I'm not going to show you because the pattern is like right there. What can I show you? Basically, I'm going to show you this part. So basically, it's just a picture of a bear, not this exact same one, but I don't think you can read it this far back. But anyway, so it's adorable, and it says, so it's a picture of a bear, and it's a silhouette, and it got a little bit of trees in there, and it says Stitch North 2023. And it came with some green Aida cloth that they dyed themselves, and it came with their Brenna Knittle floss. Perfect color for the bear. And this is 6-strand cotton floss, 10 yards, and the name of it is Mayben. It's a perfect color for that chart. And of course, this is their card. Then we had a bunch of charts made specifically for the retreat. I think they were released just for us, and then I think it'll be available afterwards. This one is by Tiny Modernist, and it says, "Take it one stitch at a time." Adorable. Then this one is from Bendy Stitches. So Michelle Bendy, for those of you who don't know her, she's on Instagram as Michelle Bendy or Bendy Stitches Designs, and on Flosstube as well. So I can't show you this one either because that's a pattern. But it's an adorable pattern with a peacock in the middle, from what I can tell, yeah. And it says, you should, oh, the rest are going around, what does it say? It's going to get weird. You should sit with us. It's going to get weird. That is absolutely adorable. It's funny, you get to know your table mates really, really well. And we were table number 23, and it was a fun group of ladies, let me tell you. Okay. Then also inside of it was a little card from Canadian Stitchery. They also were one of the vendors. And a little pin that says, that has a little frog on it. Then the next couple are some charts. So this was a little book with the pattern on the inside. And it's a Celtic Millennia by Karen Drudzinski. And this is from Textured Treasures. Boy, that's a tongue twister. And they were there. And they were there as a vendor. So this is the Celtic design. It's really cute. And it uses, let me see. It's DMC, but they also give you options to use anchor. And there's a couple of Mill Hill beads that needed there. It's not a full coverage, but it looks interesting enough that maybe someday I will attempt it. But there's beads and stuff, and that scares me. But I've got friends now who can teach me. Then this is by the Kitten Stitcher. It's 2 by Julia. So there's 2 patterns in there. My gosh, they must be stitching on the tiniest fabric ever. Goodness gracious. Yeah, they said that they used 40 count. Yeah, that won't be happening. This one is actually kind of pretty. It's just like a, gosh, what do they call it? A band sampler type, right? It's just narrow, and this is actually pretty. I think this is something that I would stitch, even though it's not full coverage. It's About to Take Wing by 1897 Schoolhouse Samplers. And it's that right there. Pretty, huh? It's kind of cute. All right. Then, like I said, I went around the room and met people, but people also came up to our table wanting to get to know us. And it kind of sort of somehow worked out that everybody at my table were actually full coverage stitchers. 7 of us at a table. 5 of us actually had full coverages that we brought to work on. And the other 2, even though they were working on other non-full coverages, they were full coverage stitchers. So they had some in their whip pile. And so it kind of became, you know, a thing that we were the table full of full coverage stitchers. So like I said, I brought all of my whips to showcase. Just I laid them on the table, and anybody who wanted to come by and see what kind of stuff I work on, because everybody had different things. Everyone was working on things like that, the samplers and such. So it was really cool to let everybody see what I stitch on. And they liked what they saw because they don't do that normally. So it was really cool to show them the full coverage that they're not used to. And when people came to visit your table, sometimes they'd come bearing gifts. So I'm just going to show you a few because there were so many and everyone was so generous. This was one thing that was given to us. It's just a little tape measure, the cutest little thing ever. I love these things. They're retractable. So cute. Then someone came around with needle minders. This is a needle minder, and they attached it to this floss, which is the color Spring Green, and it's Floss by Gloriana, hand-dyed ribbons and threads for fine needlework. Then I got the cutest thing. This little scissor bag. I mean, how adorable is that? And it says, Stitch North Friends. Cute or what? Right? You put your scissors in there. It's so adorable. It's like a little mouse. So cute. Then a lot of people were going around and giving floss drops. And this one was particularly sweet because it has Stitch North on it in right here. And it has a little floss and little pelican scissors. Really cool. And then another ring for floss. This is so sweet. Just a little Smarties tag and 2023. So just so lovely, and there was just too many people coming and going for me to, I'm horrible with names, so there's just too many people coming and going for me to remember everybody's names. However, some I can, some I'm going to remember because now I can put a face to a name because I see them on social media and I met them in person. Then someone came around with this, and it's the cutest pun ever. I think her social media handles are Elizabeth Can Stitch. So on this needle minder, she put Elizabeth Ann Can and then in brackets ADA Stitch. So it becomes Elizabeth Ann Canada Stitch. It's a cute little pun. And then this one is by Rai McGuy. He was absolutely lovely to meet, and he gave me a little stitch marker. So it's just a pin that you use to, like how I grid, some people use these. It's adorable, but look at this. So pretty. And then we had, oh, and then my friend Kaylee in the grab bag, she had also included one of her stamped needle minders. So pretty. So she also was there as a vendor. So that's going to be a smooth segue into what I got at the vendor stations. So let's start with, remember I showed you the Celtic Designs pattern that came in the grab bag? Well, I went to Textured Treasures, I'm telling you, it's a tongue twister. Textured Treasures table. And I found something that it just caught my eye. It's not a full coverage, but it still looked really, really interesting. And then, so while I was there, a couple of girls from my table also were there with me, and they decided to get it as well. So we're all going to stitch it together. So this is what it is. It's a Celtic design. It's called Celtic Mosaic. And it's a kit. So it comes with the fabric, with all the flosses, all the specialty threads, and even some John James needles, which is great. The count of fabric that it comes on, which I'm a little bit scared about, it doesn't say anywhere on the outside. We might have to actually open it up to see. guessing it says it on the first page. Let's see. Aha, 28 count. Okay, not so scary. I've worked on 28 count before. I think that's manageable. So that's going to be fun because it's my first real foray into non-full coverage. So it'll be nice to do it with friends, you know? And it's kind of sort of full coverage. It's not completely non-full coverage. So I think I'll enjoy it. And there's not like super crazy specialty stitches, just different kind of needlework, which I think is a good way to start. Yeah, so that ought to be fun. Looking forward to that one. Then I stopped over at Kaylee's table. She has the best fabric. She's all over the place on social media too, and her store is the sewing shop. So check her out. So I bought fabric from her. The first one is so pretty. This is a piece of 18 count because you know I love 18 count. And it is so beautiful. I'm going to show you closed up first. Look at that. And you know what? The camera is picking up the true color. So then, look, just look at that. Like, how beautiful is that? Okay, hang on. Look at this. Okay, let's see if we can do... Okay, look. It's to die for beautiful. Okay, I don't even know. I do it backwards. I buy the fabric first, and then I have to find something to stitch on it. So it's not bad. It's like rectangle shaped, but it's 18 count, which is amazing. So I have to find something to stitch on it, and something that I can stitch on, and instead of using matting, I'm going to leave the fabric to be shown. Kind of like what I'm going to do for this lady right here. And this is one of my favorite purchases. Oh, love it. Then I also bought from her a piece of 20 count. I've never got 20 count before. No, wait, I'm lying. That was 18. Yeah, this is 20 count. Okay, I was going to say, yeah, my head was thinking backwards. Why does it look smaller than 18 count? Because it is. Look, so pretty. And this one is an interesting shape because it's long and narrow. So I'm not even going to be able to show all of it on camera. This is it. Like, how pretty is that? Look at the designs that are coming through. All right. I love it, love it, love it. Okay. Let's put that back in so it doesn't get dirty. So those were my purchases. And then on the second day, they set up a table where people could place their charts and cross-stitch paraphernalia needlework paraphernalia that they didn't want anymore. And it was like a grab table. You could just grab whatever you wanted. And I was like, I'm not going to find any full coverage there. No. But lo and behold, I did. And I got some non-full coverage. I know, shocking, right? So I found 2 Mystic stitches. I've never stitched on a Mystic stitch, but everybody tells me that they stitch up really nicely. So I got this one. It's called Springtime Treasures. It's really cute. I kind of like it, and they're not huge. This one is 150 by 200 stitches. Okay. Then the next one is called Open Door. It's actually really lovely. Right? And that one also is 250 by 324. So this was a little bit bigger, but still not that bad. And like I've said, I've heard good things about Mystic Stitch, so I'm excited. Then, this caught my eye because I kind of love blue. And it's totally not full coverage. However, there also is no back stitch, which really appealed to me because back stitch is a pain in the ass. And without the backstitch, they have managed to create a beautiful design. Like, look, and there's so many of them to make wonderful pillows. I don't know if I'll make pillows out of them, but love the design anyway. This is really, really interesting me where they put it on top of a box. That's an idea for the next year's smalls. Now, love it. And I don't even have to use the colors if I don't want to. There's just 5 different colors of blue, DMC. And if I wanted to, I could just use variegated thread. And away we go. Or I find 5 different red colors. So many options to do with this. I'm actually kind of excited about this one. Then I stopped there and I thought, don't want to go crazy. And then I went back and I started stitching. And then a lady approached me with a chart off of the free table. And she was like, did you see this one? It's kind of full coverage, and I thought you would like it. I was like, oh my gosh, that's so sweet. So she said that she had put it on the free table and thought that I might like it. So when I looked at it, I was like, yeah, it has a bit of an Asian theme. It's like a Thai theme. And I thought, okay, yeah, I'd give it a go. And it's just a cute little pattern. It's not very big. So I said, yes, of course, I'd love to stitch it. I think I could whip that up pretty quickly. So here it is. Right? Isn't that cute? Adorable. So, but I think I would stitch it on a much smaller fabric than is normally done with these kits. This is a pin cross stitch kit. Now, how do I open this without... Okay. So, and it comes with the floss. Not fabric, but it comes with the floss. So I'm just going to check what size they recommend. I want to go small because I feel like that would look really nice on a smaller piece of fabric. I'm not sure. Oh, wait. That's the actual chart. Okay. That's the other thing with these things that you get from the freebie table is you can't put them on Pattern Keeper. You got to open up a big old piece of paper. But all right. Let's see. Oh, they're recommending nothing. They're not saying what you should put it on. But it's 92 by 160. And there's a bit of back stitching, which is going to be not fun. However, I think we can manage. But yeah, I thought it would be much funner to stitch it on a smaller bit of fabric rather than the... Yeah, so like nope, that goes this way. I don't know, maybe maybe I should get some more 20 count. I'll have to work it out. Definitely not any smaller than 18 count. I would not do well with 16 or oh, I put that in backwards. That's okay. I would not do well with 16 or 14 count. So that was all the lovelies that I got from my Stitch North retreat trip. And so what did I do while I was there? So clearly, leading up to the Stitch North retreat, I was trying to complete my smalls exchange. As you know, I don't stitch on smalls, but for some reason, stitching on a small piece took forever. Finishing it didn't take too long, so I stitched a really cute piece, and I'm going to insert some pictures here. I stitched this piece. It is a map of... It's the map of Newfoundland in black, and then around it is a map of, the Republic of Newfoundland flag, a map of Newfoundland in the center, and I attached it to the top of a box that I found at Michael's, and then inside I just put a few treats and stuff in it. It was a lot more work than I thought it would be, and I started late, which I always do that, but it was so much fun. And in exchange, so everybody who brought a gift for the smalls exchange, you were allowed to take one back home. So the one that I selected, it kind of worked out well because it was filled with items, multiple items, related to my favorite season, Christmas. First off, a cross-stitched greeting card, which I'm never going to give to anybody because it's too nice and I don't want to give it away. And then some ornaments. First, a non-stitched one, Merry and Bright. Then the cutest little, and I think I'm missing one of them. It must have fallen out of the bag. Oh, no, there it is. I was going to say, I thought there was 3. Not 1. Not 2. This one's cute. It's a little pie tin. But 3 little stitched pieces. This is a keychain. So a little paw print. And the best ornaments ever. Look at that. Isn't that really lovely? And then she came around. I'm so sorry, but I didn't catch her name. She came around and she said that there was supposed to be one more item in my gift. And I was like, oh my gosh, you've already given me so much. She made these. It's like a needle book. I think that's what they're called. So on the inside, there's felt where it even like floss sticks to it, but it's to hold your needles. How adorable is that? All in all, a wonderful experience. Then, of course, came the actual stitching. And I have what I call a retreat piece that I take to every retreat that I go to. And it is Mini Meditation by Heaven and Earth Designs. So colorful, filled with all my favorite colors because I love jewel tones. And I decided to divide the chart up into sections so that I could dedicate sections to every retreat that I go to. And I've been to 2 prior to this one, and this one was kind of important because this was the first like full coverage retreat that I've ever been to. Not full coverage, needlework retreat that I've ever been to. And so basically I drew a stained glass design style pattern on top of the Mini Meditation, and I work in sections. I'm going to show you the section that I'm currently worked on while I was at the retreat. Then I'm going to show you what I have so far. I have to complete areas that I stitched on previously. But here's what I worked on while I was at the retreat. Isn't that like amazing? Like, look. Can you see that? I don't know if the light is showing properly, but there you go. It was so much fun. And I am actually shocked that I got that much stitching done. The first day, I got 1,400 stitches done. Then the second day, I was like, I have to meet my goal. So I did another, so I matched it. I think I did like, I don't know, anywhere between 1,400 and 1,500 stitches on the second day. And the third day, we were only there for a few hours in the morning, and I got 500 in. So happy with that because everybody kept telling me, you're going to be talking too much, you're going to be meeting too many people, you're going to be socializing, you're not going to get much stitching done. I was like, no, I can do all of it. I can meet people, I can talk, and I can stitch at the same time. And I did it. I know, I'm crazy. Then, here's what my piece looks like so far. So, this was one retreat. These 2 here were another retreat, and this was Stitch North. I decided to do 2 blocks at the same time. We'll see how many I do, and I've put in, you can't see it, this is only for my eyes because you can't see it. This is the name of the retreat and the date. This was in September 2021, and then this one was 2022, these 2 ones, and then this one I have to put in for 2023. Overall, I can't say enough about my experience. It was such a lovely time, and now I'm back to stitching. I'm still tired by the time the end of the night comes, so I'm not getting as much stitching done. I'm working on my anniversary piece, trying to work on it every night, and then putting a little extra stitches in the rotation piece that I'm working on. So I'm getting there. I don't have much to show yet, so next time around I should have more to show you, but yeah, I had enough to talk about. I think this is one of my longest videos in a while. So I'm going to leave it there. Thank you so much for joining and sharing in my excitement of my trip to Stitch North. It was the best time. Bye, everyone.